Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm stoked you're here. Today we're going to look at 10 folding knives in my collection that are absolute favorites that probably don't get enough coverage on the channel, that might have just gotten a quick overview or review. These are knives I've been carrying a lot lately. They're kind of on the small medium size in generalities when we're talking about them as a group. But I just wanted to get into them and kind of talk to you about them, kind of bring their attention back to them because I think they're great knives. The first is this Tuya Shocker. The Tuya Shocker is an amazing collaboration. And it is a very unique looking knife. You've got this very aggressive belt satin blade, deep hollow grind, nice forward pointing jimping, which gives you just a really locked in feel here, whether you're going to use this to plunge or to cut with. Just fantastic. You've got titanium body frame lock, S90V, excuse me, this one's actually 20CV. This is a 20CV blade collaboration between Tuya and, gosh, I forget the other company that is a collaboration with, but I'll put it in the description. You've got this really deep milling on the show side here, which not only looks interesting, it makes for a very grippy knife that would normally be smooth tie, right? Very, very grippy. This is, like I say, a medium-sized knife, which we're going to call that small medium. For me, it's a good medium-sized knife, but it comes in at 7 1/4 inches with about a 3 1/4 inch blade with a 3-inch cutting area, inside handle grip of 3.5, 3.5 from right here to right here. This is the Tuya Shocker. These guys are on sale right now for, I think, $169 for 20CV titanium in what I think is a fantastic design. But this is the Tuya Shocker. Moving on, we come to the FerraMonster Glideman. Very unique knife. FerraMonster offered me to check out one of their 3 designs, and this was the only one that had a deployment hole, so this is the one that I opted to try out. I'm glad I did. I like some of their other designs and wish I'd kind of tried one of those out now that I've experienced this. But guys, this is a great knife. This is a knife that is set up titanium frame lock like the others, M390 blade, this nice stone-washed, unique sheep's foot blade with very good ergonomics. You've got this forward choil, you've got either a hole deployment or a very well tuned flipper tab for either a light switch or a push button. I didn't cut with the Shocker. We'll have to bring it out here and make a little confetti, but these knives are very much tuned, in my opinion, for EDC. Thin grinds, good blade steels, nice slim package. This is a flat titanium with chamfered edges, really good pocket clip, works very well. I guess I should show you guys how these ride in the pocket because most of them aren't deep, but this guy just goes in, rides right there. Got a place for a lanyard if you want a lanyard. Not a deep carry clip, but very adequate carry. And the Shocker, which we just started with, is also moon nose slicey. And it goes in and out of pocket very well, but it's also not deep carry. You've got about that much of the knife that's going to show up on the Shocker. So this is a FerraMonster Glideman, and just a great EDC size knife. Again, it's medium, but you've got this very generous finger choil. This guy's going to measure in right at 7 1/8. It's going to have almost 2 3/4 inch cutting area, 3-inch blade, 3.5 inch grip from here to here. If you measure it up to the choil, you're looking at 4.5. So 4.5 from here to back here. If you want that inside dimension, it's going to be 3 3/4 and 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 inside grip, 3 3/4 inside grip there. This is the FerraMonster Glideman, a great EDC knife, unique. I really like it. Brings us to another knife I picked up at White Mountain Knife Company. This is the Vosteed Anklyo, or Anklo. I'm not pronouncing that right, but I'll spell it right. It uses their Trex lock, which is this center pivot activated lock, which works very well. This knife is a nice aluminum handle, maybe titanium. I think it's aluminum, but it has a L-Max blade. Actually, this one is titanium. But super slicey. A great slicer. A heavier knife, and I'm assuming that's a combination of the way this lock is built inside this pivot, the size of the blade, which is pretty much a worker's blade. You've got great ergos on this knife. You've got multiple deployment methods, from a flipper tab to a front flipper tab to your slow roll if you're into that, to a thumb flick if you're into that, middle finger flick, multi-deployment, very well done knife. I'm a big fan of this knife. It's probably the heaviest knife on this list and the thickest, but I think again that's because of the lock. So we're coming in at 7 3/4 inches with roughly a 3 1/4 inch blade, inside grip 5 inches to the choil, inside grip 3 1/2 inches to right here. Very slicey, very nice knife by Vosteed. They're always pushing the envelope with design, and I bought this one, didn't get a chance to pick one up from them, but White Mountain had them in stock. I was stoked to get it. Moving on, we come to a very cool, unique, probably one of the most unique designs I've seen so far this year. Very different. This is the Tuya Strength, which is a very unique integral design. So you've got one piece of titanium that's got this nice bow that keeps it from being flat titanium. I don't know how well you can see it there, but multiple deployment knife. You've got a spear point blade that thunders out from those studs, whether I thumb flick it or reverse flick it. You've got a traditional flipper tab, and you've got a front flipper, all of which work very well. You've got a nice anodized clip. You've got a very nice, I want to say this is an M390 blade. Very slicey. More importantly, very pokey. It is definitely a bayonet looking type of knife. The action on this is as good as any knife in my collection. It's the blacked out version. You can also get this in different crystalline coated colored titanium handles. I think this knife is super elegant. I think it's a fantastic gentleman's folder that is also very tactical. It's going to be that medium range, so it's going to come in right at 7 1/4 inches overall, with a little bit over a 3-inch blade. Your inside grip 3 1/2 to the choil where I hold it is 4 1/4. I hold it right here. If you want to hold it back here, you're at roughly 3 1/2. Up here, you're at 4 1/4. Drop shut, impeccable slamming action, and it is just a banger. That is the Tuya Strength, which brings us to the thinnest knife in this roundup that I've been carrying a whole bunch lately and really think this knife's a winner. I've not experienced a Benchmade Narrows. I know from the dimensions that this is actually thinner by just a little bit than the Benchmade Narrows, and I can tell you this knife has been nothing but a joy to carry. It's been nothing but a joy to cut with. I've cut all kinds of different packaging with it, food packaging, cat food packaging, you name it, EDC type items, broken down cardboard with it. It soars through cardboard like nobody's business. Again, that blade is so thin, the geometry is so good. It is just a little winner. This is the Vosteed Parallel. This is the Parallel with the S35VN blade steel. It has got a bar lock, their bar lock, which works very well. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to clean that blade off because I've been using this knife like crazy and have yet to give it a good get that tape off the blade, make it cut better. And there we go. Get that off there. Get that off of there. Yeah, the Vosteed Parallel, fantastic thin knife. I mean, guys, this thing profiles 0 in your pocket. It's about the same size as our Benchmade Bug Out. A little bit shorter. It's going to weigh in right at 7 inches exactly. Right under 3-inch blade. Right under a 3-inch cutting area. And you've got a nice ergonomic flat handle of 3 3/4. That 3 3/4 runs from this back corner of the knife to right here. You do have a lanyard tie off there if you want that. The bar lock, just like the Dachshund or any other Vosteed bar lock I've experienced, is snappy. They work very well, and this knife is amazingly thin. So that's the Vosteed Parallel. Moving on to one that I've been carrying a lot lately, that was a trade I came up with from a brother in the community. This is my Microtech Socom Mini Bravo. This is made, if I'm not mistaken, by Reich. Extremely well done. You've got this titanium subframe lock with carbon fiber M39 or M39 MK, which is the I guess you'd call it the Microtech version of M390. Again, concealed frame lock on thumb studs. This is the Tonto. The bolster leads you right to that thumb stud, whether I'm reverse flicking it or I'm front flicking it. I just hit my finger with that. You can see it in the blind. You don't have to be seeing it to know exactly where your thumb's to be placed or your finger, because you just follow that channel up. It's a joy to deploy, that rhymed, and it's a great knife to carry. I haven't been showing you the depth on all these knives. This one's a little over 7.5 inches with a 3 1/4 inch blade, inside grip of right at 4 inches. Again, like I said, most of these knives don't carry deep, but they carry very well. A little more tricky when I'm not wearing them. But so the Socom carries about yay deep. So you've got a little bit of it popping up, not too much. However, the Vosteed Parallel is extremely deep carry. Our Tuya Strength is about that deep. And the only one that we didn't get is this Vosteed, which has a deep carry clip, but it's not mounted all the way to the top, so you get a little bit of the knife showing out. Nothing to worry about, no big deal. I think they're bangers. And that was the Microtech Socom Mini Bravo. Love this knife. It's tuned as well as any in my collection. And that brings us to another knife I traded for. This is the Pena Mini. I'm going blank. It's not the Apache. It's the Mini Raptor. Raptor Mini. It is a wicked little Warncliffe hollow grind that is so slicey. Just a joy to cut fruit with, a joy to open packages with, a joy to open just about anything with. If you're doing detail cuts, it is the bomb diggity, because you've got that super sharp splinter digger point. This is somebody's exclusive. I don't remember if it was Knife Center's, but it's black micarta. You've got this bolster lock, M390 blade, very snappy knife. It's one that I can actually get the over finger flip on because it's short enough, but yet it's large enough for me to easily carry as a primary knife. Going to be on the smaller size of these knives. It's going to come in right at 6.5 inches with right under a 3-inch blade. I'm going to call it 3 3/4 inch handle and right under 2 3/4 inch cutting area. This is the Pena Mini Raptor that I traded for and really like. A light knife, gentleman's folder, very, very sleek, very, very effective. Brings us to the next one, which is the Tuya Jim Skeleton Design Scapoid or Scapoid. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. This is a flipper-only knife, which I've kind of had a resurgence in flipper-only desirability in what I find in a knife, because I like the fact that that wicked blade is completely concealed in the handle of this very nice knife. The flipper tab is positioned perfectly, whether I light switch it or push button it. It fires out, very strong detent. This knife has got a hollow grind compound with a flat on the tip. The tip is a splinter digger like nobody's business, and the handle is extremely ergonomical. When you see this knife closed, you can see these gentle swells in this contoured handle, which is made up of titanium with carbon fiber inserts, and you've got a little balance going around that back side of that frame lock. But this just fits the hand like a glove. This knife is not only a great slicer, it is an absolute tactical slurpee saver. Gets somebody leaking pretty quick if they came at you aggressively and you had to, you know, give them a little poke or two. But that is the Tuya Skeleton Blade Works Scapoid or Scapoid. Which brings us to the last knife that I think is a super cool knife that doesn't get enough love, that I've been carrying now for quite a long time. I really like this knife. This is the Tonic. The Tonic 1. The maker is Tonic. The knife is called the Tonic. It is a small little knife. It is a knife that is M390 in titanium. It utilizes the same top liner lock as the Vosteed Scapoid does. And Tonic Tough Knives, which Tonic joined, is a combination of Tough Knives and another company that escapes my brain right now, came together and did the Scapoid, but they also did this as their first knife. This is a smaller knife, a little bit different, a little similar, has a compound ground, drop point blade, does have that really nice top liner lock. I love the look of the knife because it looks unlike anything else. It's only a 6 3/4 inch knife, which for me is fine. Right over 2 3/4 inch blade, and you've got a generous 4 1/4 inch grip, which fits my fingers perfectly. A lot of times I don't like a knife that dictates where I need to point my fingers, but this just fits well. It does have a lanyard hole and this blue back spacer. The Tonic 1. Guys, these are knives that I know I don't show them enough. I know I carry them a lot more, and I don't see them a lot on Instagram. I think they're just knives that have either, like the Raptor, had its day, they're still available, but you don't see them as often. Or some of these knives that, you know, maybe people think are more tactical than they actually are. Or some of the newer knives, like this Vosteed Parallel, which I can't get out of my pocket because it's such a low imprint. Or something so unique, one of a kind, like this Tuya Strength. It's just an amazing integral. Or the Vosteed Anklyo, I'm mispronouncing that utilizes that Trex lock. To our FerraMonster Glideman. All of these knives are newer knives to me. The only one that's not a new knife are these two here. But I like all of these designs very, very much. They just suit my style. I'm glad y'all came. I want to say thank you to my channel members. I usually do that at the beginning of the video. Thank you all so much. I also want to say thank you to anyone who's come in to watch my knife, my EDC content. Thank you. If you're so inclined, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon. If you would, hit the like button. If you want to be a superhero, watch that video that's popping up over there. It helps me out. Guys, thank you. Please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for that guy or gal to your right. Please look out for one another. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.